Now on the CTV News at 5, the snow has started falling and more is on the way. Plus, 9 UCP MLAs are now facing recall petitions. And significant damage is caused by 2 weekend fires.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. It's looking a lot more like winter outside today as southern Alberta sees its first significant snowfall of the season. A snowfall warning was issued for Lethbridge, calling for upwards of 20 centimeters of snow today. As Carson Marsouk report, it has been a busy day for city crews.
It's the first major blast of winter this season.
The snow was starting around 3 a.m. this morning, so we had plows out and then we mobilized more with more snow coming. So right now we have 8 plows out.
A snowfall warning covered most of southern Alberta, calling for about 20 centimeters of snow by Monday night.
We've had a few collisions this morning, nothing too serious thankfully, but yeah, there's been an uptick in collisions.
With the rapid change to winter driving, Lethbridge police are reminding drivers to plan ahead, be patient, leave room between vehicles, and drive to the conditions.
If the speed limit, say it's 80 kilometers an hour, that's the maximum speed limit on a dry paved road. When the winter comes and the roads are ice and snow, that could be reduced to 40, 50, no problem, just because it's safe to do so.
For those driving on the roads, the city says plows and sanding trucks will be out 24/7 for the time being. Snow routes have not yet been declared. Julianne Ruck says there's a number of thresholds in place before they're activated.
Resource availability, weather changes, like we wouldn't necessarily plow when there's a Chinook coming in tomorrow. You know, all those decision points that we consider internally.
But others are welcoming the snow with open arms.
It's been an unseasonably warm fall. We've had lots of precipitation, just not the right kind. And certainly this feels like a turning point.
Castle Mountain Resort is slated to open on December 5th, but limited snow and above freezing temperatures have kept staff from being able to make snow.
It really is crucial at this point to receive either natural snowfall or at least at the minimum the temperatures needed to make snow. And so, what we're seeing falling from the sky right now is critical to our success in getting the resort open when we had hoped to.
Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Now, with more heavy snow in the forecast later this week, the city of Lethbridge is encouraging residents to download its Lethbridge Loop app to stay up to date with when snow routes are declared active and deactivated. Now, Lethbridge County crews, they are also busy clearing roads. Their plow routes are prioritized based on traffic volumes, emergency vehicle access, and school bus routes. Now, here are some ways you can help. Those who are living in hamlets, business parks, and residential subdivisions are asked to move vehicles and equipment off the street. Don't push snow onto roads. That actually creates hazards for other drivers and plow operators. Don't push snow into ditches. It can block culverts. If you have concerns about highways, contact Volker Steven. Gravel roads are not typically plowed during the season's first snowfall as the roads aren't yet fully frozen, but crews may apply sand or gravel. Well, let's talk about that forecast with our Danielle Savoni. Danielle?
And yes, I'm losing my voice. I feel great, but I'm losing my voice. And I'm here because, of course, we have a lot of important things to talk about for today. Snowfall warning still in place for areas in the southeast corner. Medicine Hat included in this. So we are looking at more snowfall consistently falling, especially in the southeast corner for the rest of today. But all of the far south looking at flurries on and off for the rest of today as well. Not sure why the warning popped up again there. The other key thing is that it's not just snow, it's snow and blowing snow, reducing visibility at times as well, with gusts over 40 kilometers per hour today and for the next few hours as well before it quiets down. And this brought in colder air for sure. -2 is the temperature in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, and these temperatures are here to stay for the rest of the week. More details coming up, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Danielle. Elk Valley residents are rallying to support the family of a contractor killed on the job in Sparwood last Wednesday. A GoFundMe has now raised almost $80,000 to help Andrew Osborne's family. The 39-year-old went missing during maintenance work at the Elkview Operations Mine. RCMP and the BC Coroner responded and the man's remains were recovered. Osborne leaves behind a wife and 5 children. Police and the company are conducting a full investigation of what happened. Lethbridge police are asking for the public's help identifying a suspect involved in the alleged robbery of a Northside business. Police say around 6 p.m. on November 22nd, officers responded to the robbery along the 1000 block of 2A Avenue North. Police allege a man entered the business and stole a number of items. When he was confronted by staff, he began swinging a hammer at them before fleeing the scene. Fortunately, no one was injured. The man is described as about 30 years old, 6 feet tall with a thin build. He has blonde hair, a thin mustache, and a small injury under his nose. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. Now, Taber police, they are also trying to identify a suspect involved in 2 robberies. Back on October 17th, around 9:30 p.m., police say an unknown suspect approached the front desk at the Heritage Inn and demanded money. The suspect fled with an undisclosed amount of cash. And then, just yesterday, police say around 12:20 a.m., an unknown suspect entered the Heritage Inn and went behind the front desk and demanded money again. The suspect took off with an undisclosed amount of cash. Anyone with information is asked to call Taber Police or Crime Stoppers. Lethbridge Fire and Emergency Services are investigating 2 unrelated fires this past weekend. The first happened around 10:15 Friday night along the 400 block of 10th Street South. Crews responded to a large outside fire that had spread to the exterior of a nearby building. Then around 5:15 Sunday morning, firefighters from 5 stations responded to a garage fire in the 1600 block of 15th Avenue South. That fire spread from the garage to the home and 2 people were safely evacuated without injury. Both fires remain under investigation. After nearly a week, Cranbrook's boil water order that has been lifted. The city says regular water use can resume and they thank the public for their patience. Elections Alberta has approved 6 new recall petitions, which includes the Speaker of the House. Calgary Hayes MLA Rick McIver is one of the new MLAs facing a recall petition. Other MLAs include Calgary Northwest Rajan Shawnee, Calgary North Mohammed Yassin, Calgary Fish Creek's Miles McDougall, Highwood's RJ Sigurdsson, and Morinville's St. Albert's Dale Nally. Signatures must be collected by February 22nd, and the number of signatures required range from 9,500 to over 15,000. 9 UCP MLAs in total are now facing recall petitions. We have more coming up at 6. Hundreds rallied for transgender rights outside the Alberta Legislature this weekend. Members and supporters of the trans community are against the UCP government's proposed Bill 9. The bill tabled in the legislature last week proposes the use of the notwithstanding clause to ensure 3 bills that affect transgender youth and adults can't be overturned by the courts. Trans advocates say the legislation is harmful.
With my very, very close friends, my family who are trans, knowing that they don't feel safe in their own homes anymore. It's just, we have to be out here. There's no other choice for us.
The province used the notwithstanding clause just a few weeks ago as well in order to order striking teachers back to work. Thousands of nursing care workers will vote this week on the deal reached between AUPE and Alberta Health Services.
Our unity and our determination brought AHS right to the edge, and they chose not to jump.
Edmonton workers picketed at the picket line Saturday morning and then were told an agreement had been reached. AUP represents about 16,000 workers, including licensed practical nurses, healthcare aides, and operating room rating techs. The agreement includes a base wage increase of 12% over years, plus more in market adjustments. Post-secondary students are coming up on the end of the fall semester. It can be a challenging time of year, not just academically, but also financially. Quinn Keenan tells us more.
Most students will be spending the next couple of weeks cramming for exams and finishing projects, but many will also be stressing about money. This time of year brings a surge in students looking for financial support.
Sometimes, too, students have although they've planned for their financial situation throughout the term, are coming to the point where they may be experiencing being a little short on funds.
The University of Lethbridge Students' Union also experiences a similar rise in demand. This year appears to have more students than last year asking about financial aid.
We've seen an increase of students coming in the office, sending emails, requesting funding assistance, and even compared to like last year when we had to increase the budget line, we have seen an increase.
The Students' Union is doing what it can to help students, but with only so much money budgeted for the year, it can be difficult. They're encouraging students to see what supports the university has to offer, as well as provincial and federal grants.
It has been challenging a little bit just because we have that budget line for the entire academic year, but we've seen so much increase just with this semester alone. So we have seen challenges, but we're trying to support students however best we can.
The university, for its part, is looking at ways, big and small, to support students this exam season. Its annual free on-campus breakfast for students campaign is making a return. This, as well as many other programs and supports, would not be possible without community support.
It is vital to the success of our students, to ensuring accessibility to the transformative power of education, making sure that students can afford to go to school.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
A University of Lethbridge student has earned a very prestigious distinction. Political science student Sydney Whiting has been awarded a 2026 Rhodes Scholarship. The scholarship is one of the most competitive in the world. Canada is only allocated 11 spots for the scholarship. Whiting becomes just the 4th U of L student ever to be named a Rhodes Scholar. She'll head to Oxford University next fall as part of the scholarship. She plans to earn a Master's of Public Policy and a Master of Science in Public Policy Research. Students at Chinook High School are getting ready for their latest production, Lucid, this week. The dance performance will feature hip-hop, jazz, contemporary, powwow, and much more. More than 70 dancers will take the audience through a wild ride of dreams and nightmares. The production has been designed by those in the community, students and alumni of the school.
So far, the production has been really well, and people have been amazing. Dancers are looking really great, and overall, just the vibe of the dances really give you kind of insight of what how messy dreams can be, and also just how exotic experiences like that can be.
The production runs November 26th to 28th inside the school's media center. The City of Lethbridge is reopening its Reimagine Downtown grants for intake of applicants. The grants will be awarded to programs and events designed to re-energize spaces downtown. $120,000 is available for different projects. The program is focused on downtown spaces that are underutilized and underprogrammed. This year's program will focus on activating gardens. Applications are open until December the 31st. Well, Danielle is back with the 5-day forecast right after this break. Plus, we hear about the growing concerns on the increasing use of sleeping pills.
Well, here's your sky cam facing northwest. We certainly had a lot of snowfall in southern Alberta today. Some communities closer to the Calgary area, for example, saw around 20 centimeters of snow. And we had a lot of snowfall closer to that 15 mark in the far southeast corner of the province as well. So, the snowfall is still coming in. Totals are still adding up here, and we'll have a whole run through on all of that tomorrow for you. -1 was the high in Calgary today. So snow, blowing snow, poor road conditions, all of us learning how to drive once again in this type of weather for the season. And then on top of that, much colder temperatures, and these temperatures are here to stay. So while the snow's moving on out, the cold weather, that's all week for us. Okay, -3 is the temperature in Calgary and Milk River, -2 in Brooks, Medicine Hat, Lethbridge, -6 in Pincher Creek, and of course there's wind chill values associated with that. It's been gusty at times today, over 40 kilometers per hour, closer to 50 in fact in Medicine Hat, mid-40s for Lethbridge, 37 for Pincher Creek. Still a little on the gusty side tomorrow as well, up to 40 kilometer per hour gusts, but the snow's done. Still a snowfall warning in place for the far southeast corner again, where it's been really heavy snowfall for today, that wet, heavy snow, and it's still continuing. I'm going to show you the radar here, and you can still see it in that southeast corner. So this is on its way out. We're almost done with it, but we're still looking at isolated flurries possible even through the overnight hours, which I'm going to show you the futurecast here. And you can see these pockets even up to the midnight hour. Still some isolated pockets of flurries, but the bulk of it is mainly out and it's just about to move out of the southeast corner. Then tomorrow, just some cloudy periods at times. It's pretty quiet. But here's some news for you. On Thursday's our next snowfall, and this will be a significant one as well. In fact, another 10 to 15 centimeters are possible for many communities in the far south because of this next wave that arrives on Thursday. This is a look at 11:30 a.m. because this is as far as really this model goes. But yes, we're looking at a big chunk of snow again for Thursday. So winter is here. -7 overnight in the East Kootenay area, rain switching over to wet snow. So we're looking at that mix. -2 is the high for tomorrow with partly cloudy skies. Grows us past -9 with flurries overnight tonight. And then sunshine for tomorrow, a little on the gusty side, 40 kilometers per hour. And a high of -1. Medicine Hat -8 tonight. For tomorrow morning, a wind chill of -13, but the snow's gone for tomorrow. Well, it's not falling anyway. It's still collected out there. -3 is the high for tomorrow. Lethbridge looking at a high of -2 with gusts closer to 40 kilometers per hour, not 70. -2 is our high for Wednesday, and we get colder as we head through the week, -8 by Friday.
The rate of insomnia goes up with age, and so does the use of sleeping pills, which is why a researcher is on a public speaking tour to teach people about alternatives. Sarah Plowman has those details.
In the morning, George Marcoux feels lighter, has more energy. Welcome after decades of struggling to sleep.
I was taking those sleeping pills as I take a candy, that's all. You know? So I did it for 35 years.
He didn't question it when a doctor prescribed him the sleeping pill, but after a near car accident, he wondered about the side effects.
I was waking up in the morning and I was looking dizzy or...
Marcoux joined a study to wean himself off the drug. He journaled, did cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI. It worked.
In a scale of 0 to 10, how I feel, it's 10.
This Dalhousie researcher is hosting public talks to share new data, along with alternatives to the pills.
We should be rethinking our overuse of sleeping pills, and we should start to look more into how can we quickly, easily access CBTI and use it as our baseline default treatment of insomnia.
New Brunswick has the highest rate of sleeping pill use among seniors in Canada at 22%. The national average is 8%.
There's some parts of New Brunswick where the rates are 3 to 4 times as high as other parts of New Brunswick.
It's unclear why. Professor David Gardner has a theory.
If you start to see other people using sleeping pills and you're having a few rough nights of sleep, you'll go ask about sleeping pills. Or if your colleagues are prescribing sleeping pills commonly, you'll be thinking about that.
When their studies sent seniors booklets laying out alternatives, researchers say a quarter of patients stopped their medications and improved their sleep. Marcoux was one.
I'm not asking people to stop. I'm asking people to talk to their doctor and their pharmacist about that.
Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, we've got Hurricanes highlights coming up in sports. Welcome back. It was a lighter than usual weekend for the Hurricanes with just one game on the schedule. The team wrapped up its BC road trip against the Prince George Cougars Friday. And Prince George came out hot, scoring 4 times in the opening 5 minutes. Lethbridge would settle in a bit with Caden Longley finding the back of the net to stop the bleeding. And then early in the second, Owen Berg scored his 7th of the year to bring Lethbridge within 2. But in the dying minutes of the period, the Cougars scored to stop any chance of a comeback. Prince George would add another as Lethbridge caps the road trip with a 6-2 loss. After dropping a game against Red Deer on Friday, the Medicine Hat Tigers started a home-and-home series with Calgary Saturday. After trailing most of the game, Liam Ruck scored to make it a 6-5 game. Then late in the third, the Hitmen scored to tie the game and send it to overtime. Now, after the extra frame solved nothing, this game, it needed a shootout. In the 7th round, Liam Ruck scored what became the game winner as Medicine Hat wins 7-6. The rematch the next day in Calgary also had plenty of fireworks, tied at 1 partway through the third. Noah Davison scored to put the Tigers up. A little later on, a push from Calgary sees Harrison Lodewick score and again send the game to overtime. This one wouldn't need a shootout, though, as Marcus Ruck tips a point shot to the back of the net to secure a 3-2 win. Brooks Bandits are still hoping to pick things up after a slower than expected start. They were on the road looking for some much needed points this past weekend. Friday, the Bandits would grab an upset win over the Trail Smoke Eaters. A pair of late Brooks goals helped to give them a 4-2 win. Bandits kept the good times going, and the next night in Cranbrook, a 3-goal second period powered Brooks to a 5-2 victory. Lethbridge Polytechnic Kodiaks, they were off this weekend, but the University of Lethbridge Pronghorns, they had basketball teams on the court. The teams were in Calgary taking on the MRU Cougars. Friday, the women's team lost 87-60, while the men came up short 82-80. Saturday was closer for the women's team, but they still lost 64-60. The men's team would lose another heartbreaker, this time 69-68. Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, we take a look at National Geographic's Pictures of the Year when we come back. Now to the National Geographic Pictures of the Year. The December issue highlights 25 images chosen by editors at National Geographic as the most poignant and stirring photographs of 2025. ABC's George Stephanopoulos has more.
A great white photographed underwater right off of Maine. A sunflower chimney bee resting after a day of pollinating. And the miracle of life. These are some of National Geographic's 2025 Pictures of the Year.
We want arresting visual images, things that really, stop you in your tracks and make you pay attention.
The team poured through 1 million photos for the best 25. In Argentina, after a once vibrant trade route collapsed, 2 brothers had to pivot.
He and his brother are using their horses to take people on educational horseback riding tours, so inventing a new kind of tourism activity that brings them a livelihood in place of what they were doing before, but very true to their cultural traditions.
A remarkable portrait from Botswana.
Stephen is an incredible photographer who's best known for what are called his day-to-night pictures. And he takes up to 1,500 photographs over the course of an 18 to 36-hour period.
Each image captures a snapshot in time across our planet, documenting our connection to the animal world and nature's breathtaking beauty.
This was actually just recently discovered. It's an annual migration of 6 million antelope in South Sudan that most people have never seen, or it is in fact the largest animal migration on the planet. We always really want to transport our readers. We want to make them feel like they're in the scene. They're maybe seeing something they've never seen before, or never thought, existed. And I think one of the things that I really felt this year looking at these pictures that I hope people come away with is a feeling of hope and optimism.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.